Module 1, Personality Identity. In 2022, I visited the British Council in Kampala to attend a masterclass for artists in the performing arts. Miss Susan Kerunen of Parrhythm Foundation in Kampala was facilitating, and she asked each of the participants to write down 3 words that described who they were. This was one of those few times when I had absolutely nothing to think about or say. I had never thought about who I was and what described me, or even what my real values were, and even when or how or why I was doing what I was doing. The next quest was then to ask myself these questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? What are my real desires? What are my true fears and dreams? Much as I did not get the answers there and then, I had started on a very important journey of discovering who I was and what drove me. My realizations since then have been a great tool, not only to justify my actions, but also to inspire me to do even more with my work. More good news is that while I am still on my endless search of ultimate self-discovery, I am so far quite sure about the following. 1. I love people. I am passionate about people activities. 2. I love to be busy. I am ever looking to work on something new. 3. I love creating comfort. I recently discovered that I tend to be restless. I am always trying to do something, otherwise I will become very bored. So I will wake up and shower or do the dishes, but while doing the dishes I think about making breakfast. Then I go ahead to do it before even finishing the dishes. To me, this satisfies my heart and enables me to hone stuff going on in my life almost all the time. I have since tended to take this on to the large scale level, where at CMH Live we have several projects happening at the same time, yet they require different needs. At some time, we had to have several events on one September weekend for the first time. I have, however, learned to live with this and to be content with all of it, especially once I learned that it is my own nature to be restless. I have therefore learned to be more organized and be able to plan much earlier, so that even when I have things happening at the same time, they have all been pre-planned and turn out smoothly. So at Kaun Music House, we spend a whole month, January, planning the stuff we shall be doing the entire year. I actually have an intact 5 years in advance planned so that I do not get distracted. How do you make judgments about yourself that are not biased or overgeneralized? I tend to look at how I have been living my life in the past and what my priorities have always been. I also look at what I would choose or do in the future, and as long as I fall more to one side than the other, I know exactly what I love. You have to be very genuine with yourself, because you do not have to do this with the intention of sharing it with anyone. It is entirely for you to understand yourself. In fact, I do not share it with anyone. In fact, I don't have to share it with anyone once I find out about myself. All my findings are personally to help me understand myself. Once you understand you very well, you are able to honestly make decisions that are in line with your own satisfaction. However, the findings are not all entirely positive. Some make the worst of us or the best of us. It is still entirely up to us to ignore the destructive part of our identity and instead embrace the constructive and positive ones. I do not believe in talent as much as I believe in humility and hard work. Because I work in talent management and development, this is a dangerous statement to make. However, for me, it encourages talented people to work hard and discourages laziness. And more importantly, it is what I believe in, whether it's true or not. To know who you are and what you believe in helps you easily set priorities, goals, and objectives. At the Academy Musician Fellowship, the first masterclass and workshops for our participating musicians is under the themes of identity and personality. Participants determine their personal values, missions, goals, and purpose in life through exploring their identities in both contemporary and traditional ways. They are encouraged to dig deep into their personalities and give reasons for their actions, especially through participating in music. In the 2023 cohort, the organizational psychologist and friend of mine, Mika Eiku, took members through personality tests and also advised them to justify their so-called identities. It gives me a lot of relief when I can justify my actions through who I think I am and what I believe in. I will always organize public events and concerts because I love people and feel so proud to see people having fun together. I love to be busy, and that is maybe why I am occupying my time with reading this book or organizing more than 20 events a year, even when it is very stressful and creates gigantic financial responsibilities. I will always make sure there are different options on things for people to choose their comfort, even when it is not necessary, because I love creating comfort. I am ever asking if people are alright and if I can do more to make them feel comfortable in spaces they're in. Facts on identity. Identity encompasses the memories, experiences, relationships, and values that create one's sense of self. Even as new facets are developed and incorporated into one's identity, the above process creates a steady sense of who one is over time. According to Wikipedia, identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, traits, appearance, and or expressions that characterize a person or a group. Wikipedia continues to state that identity emerges during childhood as children start to comprehend their self-concept, and that it remains a consistent aspect throughout different stages of life. The Nigerian web developer Ikechi Awazi published a blog post on her website named 10 Things You Didn't Know About Your Sense of Identity. 3 of these were: 1. Your identity controls your actions. 2. What gives you joy and pain is related to your true sense of identity. 3. It is not easy to find your identity. Find more of this on the website awaziikechi.com. Trying to validate your identity from others will end up destroying your identity, and social media can affect your sense of identity. Having an identity can give you a sense of belonging, which is important to your well-being and confidence. Some people believe that everything they do, from the choices they make to the decision they avoid, stem from how they see themselves in the world or how they choose to involve with the environment around them. Personality identity versus social identity. Personal identity is who we believe ourselves to be. It addresses the question, who am I? It involves our own decisions or interests and elements we can't control, such as families and race. However, social identity is how others perceive us. People recognize us by our characteristics within our communities, career, workplace, or school. Society will identify each person from these characteristics, then place the individual in a collective group with others that share these characteristics. The identity crisis. This is a time when an individual experiences uncertainty, confusion, and even anxiety about their sense of self. Learning about different identities and ways of interacting with many different people, considering how culture and family norms affect a person's identity, and seeking support from trusted loved ones or a therapist are some ways to overcome the identity crisis. How do you form identity? Society. Our identity is influenced long before we are born. Our society has already begun shaping one's identity through years of categorization and labeling based on traits and expected behaviors. Many of these broad traits are based in appearances such as gender and skin color. Others include ethnicities, religious, financial, and social statuses. Society can act as a positive and negative force on our identity. Family and loved ones. Our families and loved ones have a very significant impact on our identity formation. We consciously and subconsciously look at our parents, siblings, and extended family members for the building blocks of our identity formation. This influence is, however, a two-way street, as we can learn and develop an identity. This is because we also influence their identities as we grow together. Through romantic and platonic relationship, we can gain and lose traits, both positive and negative characteristics, that become hallmarks of our identities. These relationships can also positively and negatively influence important facets or our self-concept, such as causing us to lose interest in things that we enjoy or fall out of touch with our religious or cultural attachments. Other elements that shape our identity are ethnicity, race and culture, location and opportunities, media, social, personal interests, appearance and self-expression, life experiences. You can read more about these from the website ystudios.com by Y Studios LLC. Questions. After listening to and understanding this chapter, take time to answer these questions genuinely. You can use a separate notebook to make detailed or short points and answers that you can refer to. Question 1. Who are you? Write 3 special words that describe you. Do you know who you are, really? In terms of where you come from, your ethnicity, family background, interests, life experiences, community in which you were born, or where you exist now, your personal interests. Question 2. Why does practicing music matter to you? Do you know why you want to do music or already are practicing music? Ground yourself in understanding what matters to you as a musician or as a human being. This will be the foundation for what you do, how you make decisions, and what you decide. Question 3. What are your personal and professional goals? You probably have a variety of goals for your practice of music. For example, to diversify sources of income, to engage people and build experiences, to make positive contributions, to form new connections, to expand your ideas, to envision or build futures in music, to develop a portfolio, to share creative practice with a wider audience, to learn new skills, and so forth.